Hello everyone, you're watching XPG News. I'm your host, Betty. Right now, you're probably self-quarantined at home. If not, then you should be. Problem is, what the heck are you supposed to do when you're stuck at home with, well, nothing to do? I suppose you can read, watch Netflix, and all the other good stuff. But what better way to pass time than gaming, and more gaming? And it seems like there's no better time than now, while pretty much the whole world is staying at home playing video games, to introduce the XENIA gaming laptop. However, some critics are calling this an overzealous attempt at an already saturated market. One such critic, tech and gaming analyst Mike, joins us today to talk about why he thinks this is a terrible idea. Mike, thank you for coming on. Let's get straight to the point. Why the criticism?
Well, it's very simple. This is a relatively new brand going into an extremely competitive space with the likes of Razer, MSI, Lenovo, among many others. I have here with me a bit of research on the trends of the laptop market. As you can see, the market growth of laptops is severely limited, and gaming laptops make up just a fraction of the overall market. This makes it extremely difficult to grow within such a small and competitive space. So I honestly don't know if they genuinely think they can compete, or if they're either being arrogant or just plain foolish.
But with the outbreak and home quarantine situation and gamers being on the rise, don't you think there'll be more demand for gaming laptops and gaming gears in general? Wouldn't that increase XPG's chances of having a successful product launch, especially if they do end up delivering a really high-performance laptop?
Well, you're right about one thing. Gaming has indeed seen a significant surge as the quarantine continues to go on, and people are dusting off their gaming systems or buying new ones to fill the time. However, there are still so many other unknowns surrounding this product that just make it hard for me to get excited about it. As this is their first ever gaming laptop, we know for a fact that there's going to be a certain degree of inexperience. Whether you like it or not, this is going to have some impact on the end result. So I don't see this playing out any differently. XPG is going to flop, and it's going to be a sad, sad sight.
Okay, some strong words there. Thank you, Mike, for that interesting feedback. We actually have here with us today XPG's product director and project lead for the XENIA notebook, Luca. So at this time, I'd like to bring him on and see if he has anything to say about this. Luca, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me on the show, and great to know you, Mike.
Good to meet you.
Hey, let's do this. All right.
What are your thoughts on Mike's comments on the lack of both brand recognition and experience, and how that might affect the XENIA's success?
Let me elaborate on your feedback based on the three key points that you're making. So experience, branding, and market data. So in terms of experience, XENIA is a collaboration effort with Intel. That means that we're taking an open platform and adding elements where we lead or we can give a strong contribution. In terms of market opportunity, given that you were mentioning some market data, well, you have to consider that from a gaming community perspective, raw market data is always debatable anyway. But if you're looking at the data of gaming notebooks in particular, that has been the hottest growing category in hardware in general in the past few years. In fact, before the outbreak started, we were supposed to go from 90 million units last year to about 27 million units in 2023, with an aggregate year-over-year increase of about 8 to 10%.
Well, now that we have Luca here, let's go ahead and turn it over to Mike, as I'm sure he's just dying to have a crack at you.
Well, you're not wrong. Now, before we dive in, let me just set the record straight by saying I'm not a hater, okay? It's not like I'm going out of my way to hate on you guys in any capacity. Just wanted to set the record straight and get that out of the way. Now that we've established that, I'm actually kind of curious about the inspiration for the XENIA. Surely something of this scale wasn't just thought up on a whim, right? Like, one day you guys just all of a sudden said, hey, we should make a notebook, let's do it. So what was the inspiration for the XENIA, and was there some kind of story behind it?
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, because it went pretty much down that way. I was having lunch with my boss, and I'm sure I used the same words. Anyway, entering system was an idea from day one in the planning. Just that we are looking at this as a way to cover all the aspects of gaming lifestyle, and all of a sudden an opportunity materialized with Intel. We thought, why not?
So it was mentioned earlier that the XENIA was developed in collaboration with Intel, right? Now, what exactly does that entail? Like, what was the extent of your collaboration together? I mean, because nowadays you can do pretty much anything with anyone and call it a collaboration, you know? So what was it? Did they just provide you guys with a CPU, like, here you go, or was there something more to it?
In terms of Intel, it's nice to have their experience and their partners' experience covering our backs, and so we think that is being a very strong part of the collaboration, being able to openly discuss each and every item, aspects on the specs, the service experience, and really take a good product and take it to the next level. Intel does a lot more than just processors. They, for instance, provide the finest GigaLAN solution in the industry, and they try to push the whole computing ecosystem to the next level in terms of any product that they do. What we did was we took an open development platform that they developed for specific markets, and we looked around for all opportunities to improve and inject our DNA in not only memory storage, but there's also, for instance, the aspect of software. We deliver a pretty plain and nice experience that has no bloatware. We try to tweak each and every type of aspect of customization, and that really help us showcase some of the contribution in our branding identity, right?
So this is supposed to be a gaming laptop, right? But what is it about the specifications that makes it good for gaming? For example, are the specs good enough for me to run the latest games at high graphic settings? And if not, then what's even the point?
Absolutely. From a graphics perspective, you have a choice of GTX 1660 Ti at the lower end, and then we go into an RTX 2070. We have more graphics choices coming out soon as well. And of course, you know, the lower end is great for any gaming, from generic to even a little bit more intense and higher settings. When you go into RTX cards, those are really good for anything from ray tracing in real time, and they're also great for tech enthusiasts or even for content creators. Plus, for the latter category, we have 32 gigabyte of sorted XPG RAM, which is really a nice addition that very few actually deliver standard on laptops today.
So you mentioned sorted RAM. Now, for those of us who aren't familiar with that, what do you mean when you say that the memory is sorted?
Well, this is where really the data heritage and DNA comes strong, right? So first of all, we cut our own wafers, and then we cherry pick the best bits of Samsung die to make XENIA memory modules. So this is a very special type of process, and there are very, very few renders today out there that are willing to do this type of work.
And what are we looking at for storage? Will the XENIA be going with solid state or the standard mechanical hard drive option?
In terms of storage, this is one of the things that we are very proud of. We have our award-winning SX 8200 Pro. It's a XPG M.2 solution using an NVMe type of drive. So it's a very, very fast PCIe 3 solution. And so PCIe Gen 3, this is reaching about 3,500 sequential read and 3,000 sequential write megabit per second, or thereabout, depending on power saving solutions. So this is one of the best drives that are right now in the market, and we're very, very proud of it.
So something that gamers pretty much always focus on is the display. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
The screen is a 15.6 Full HD IPS solution. So IPS gives you great viewing angles, great color. The resolution is also, you know, where it needs to be for that type of display, Full HD. We have 144 Hertz refresh rate, which is very important if you're gaming. It's pretty much at par with the type of performance that you're expecting from your GPU. And what we do is we slightly decrease the luminosity so we can actually lower the latency. And that impacts directly your kill to death ratio. Even if you are like a noob, you actually can see a slight improvement by using a higher refresh rate, but also with a lower latency.
Actually, what I'd like to know a little bit more about is the keyboard. Seems like it was well made. RGB, of course, like every other keyboard out there, which is fine. I mean, what are you gonna do? Not have RGB? That wouldn't make much sense either, right? So tell me about this keyboard. What kind of switches it uses? Does it have any special functions or capabilities built in? And why is it ideal for gaming?
Keyboard is definitely a very strong point. I was mentioning before that because of the thickness, the slight increase, you actually have a little bit more travel, and we could fit mechanical switches. These type of switches are linear, they're a little bit similar to Brown, so silent switches, and they are very, very nice to feel. Also, considering that the majority of the competition out there has to have lower travel and rubber dome switches, I think this is giving a better service to gamers that want to have a proper gaming type of notebook. Plus, one thing that I think it's very interesting about the XENIA is that while it's still a very thin laptop at 20 millimeters, it's also good that it stayed a little bit away from the crazy race to be the thinnest ever, most performant laptop in the world. So we are 2 or 3 millimeters thicker than the same class of category, but those 2 or 3 millimeters are redistributed to first give you better thermal solution and thicker heat pipes, for instance. But also we take advantage of that by allowing you to have a larger battery life and also having a little bit more travel on 2 millimeters, so we can use actually fit mechanical switches inside.
So far, admittedly, the specs sound surprisingly good. Are there any other hidden capabilities I should know about? Don't hold anything back now. This is the time to get it all out.
When it comes down to hidden capabilities, the first thing that should be mentioned is in certain countries, we actually do offer a month of free subscription to Microsoft Xbox Free Pass, which is a really, really nice type of service for downloading games online and trying out a lot of games that are AAA or indie games, and so also for discovery of content. Apart from that, I think the one item that surprised me the most is the Wi-Fi 6. So we're taking advantage of Intel module, and if you have a AX type of access point at home or in your office, you really can take advantage of the additional bandwidth without having a strong connection from cable. So this is definitely the other item that really feels really nice. One last thing that I really think should be worth mentioning is Thunderbolt 3. So not every laptop in the gaming space has Thunderbolt 3 capabilities. Definitely all the high-end ones have. And that's a real nice addition when it comes down to be able to have connectivity with very high bandwidth. So you can take advantage if you're a tech enthusiast or a content creator for very high speed exchange of data, or if you want to have a separate external graphic card system, it's also pretty good, or monitors as well.
So without a doubt, this is a very big step for you guys. What would a successful product launch for the XENIA mean for XPG moving forward? And what would that do for XPG's future and its long-term goals?
Of course, this is a very big step for us as a brand, and XENIA means also the introduction to systems, which means that we are one of the very few brands out there that now can cover all the verticals, from peripherals to components to systems. And so it's something that we're looking forward to build upon in terms of our success. Of course, it's one of the most complicated timings in terms of launching products ever, given what's going on right now around the world. But we're really hoping to move forward and be able to provide in the future more and more platforms like XENIA and make it a family of products. We're going to have new GPUs launching relatively soon, and then eventually also refreshes and new designs coming in the future. So we're still excited, and we are in here for the long run.
I'd like to give a big thank you to both Mike and Luca for giving us a better understanding of the XENIA, which is available right now in the US, Taiwan, and Mexico. If you're not in any of those countries, not to worry, you're not missing out, since it'll also be available worldwide soon. So follow XPG on social media and stay tuned to their website for more information. Thanks for watching XPG News. I'm Betty, and I'll see you around.